Hello everyone and welcome to another Khadas video. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to capture the running log. Do note that this video only applies to Ubuntu Linux systems. And why do we want to capture the running log? What is it and why is it important? Well, if your system, for example your Vim 1, 2, 3 or 3L running Ubuntu Linux is behaving abnormally, or you are getting some unexpected outputs, you can actually capture the information from what is called the running system log. Okay, so this log captures all the information about what's going on behind the scenes on your Linux installation, and this log will help us analyze and solve the problem when you make a support request on Khadas community, right? forum.khadas.com. Okay, so this document will teach you how to capture the running log of your system. So again, before we begin, make sure you have Ubuntu Linux or a Linux or Unix-like OS installed on your Vim single board computer. Alright, so you're going to have to log into the system first to capture the system log, and there are several ways to do this. Okay, so in my case over here, I'm going to show you the first and most simple way is of course to connect a keyboard, mouse and monitor to your Khadas single board computer and log in directly. The second, slightly less easy way is to log into the system via network SSH. So for example, if your Khadas Vim is on the same Wi-Fi network as your laptop, right, or your smartphone, you can use an SSH client to log into Linux or Unix, right? This is a very, very standard thing. And of course, if all else fails, meaning that your SBC has no HDMI output, maybe the USB is broken, maybe the network socket is broken, everything is messed up, okay, we hope not, you can log into the system via a serial terminal over here, but this will require a special tool, and I'll show you that later in the video as well. Okay, but it will take some time to set up. Okay, so for step 1, I have a USB HDMI capture device connected to my Vim board. So you can't see it, but Vim board is there. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna switch from my desktop input to the USB HDMI input over here. Okay, and I think you can see this, right? I'm gonna boot up the Khadas board. So we're just gonna plug in the power here. Okay, so I just plugged in the power to my Vim 1 SBC. This is my own Vim 1 SBC, and it's still my favorite SBC. Okay, as we can see, Linux is booting up. Blah blah blah. It's a little bit difficult for me to see because I'm actually seeing this via my laptop screen. So I have a USB HDMI capture device which is capturing the HDMI output from my Khadas Vim 1 board into my laptop. Okay, so now that we are on the login screen, we can just follow the instructions. Let's switch back to my Windows desktop over here. Oops. And we can see that the default login is Khadas and password Khadas. Okay. So let's switch back to our HDMI capture device and type Khadas. So of course this your own operating system will have its own username and password. Okay. Right, but I'm using a out of the box Ubuntu installation using Cray Rescue. Okay, so now that we are connected, we need to open applications and then terminal emulator. Okay, it's kind of small for me, but this can make it bigger. Zoom, there we go, zoom in. Okay, and one more zoom in. Okay, so now it's nice and big for you guys. Right, so let's have a look. So under Ubuntu, which is what we're using right now, and we're on a local login, we're not on a remote login. So we just need to run these commands to capture the running log, which is very simple. Okay. Right. So I have a problem here because this is on my PC and I'm looking at my SBC. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna connect the SBC to my Wi-Fi network and then access the same page on the SBC's desktop, on my Ubuntu desktop. Okay, so be back shortly. Okay, and I'm back, and I've connected my Khadas Vim1 SBC to my local Wi-Fi network. So let's just verify. Yes, we have an IP address of 192.168.1.14, and this will come in later when we use the come in useful later when we use the remote SSH login. Okay, so we can test. Do we have internet? Okay, yes, we do have internet. Great. So I'm just gonna open a web browser. I prefer Firefox. And we'll just go to docs.khadas.com. Click on Linux because this video is about Linux. And click on Vim1. Troubleshooting. Capture. Running log. Okay. So since we're on a local login to our Ubuntu operating system, it's really simple. So for example, if your SBC is fully functional, you have a monitor, HDMI, keyboard, mouse, you just have to copy this command to fetch the system version information. Right, stuff it into the terminal. Boop. And there. So you have no feedback, but if you do an ls, you will see that the system version log is inside here. Okay. So you can see that it tells us it's a Vim1, it's running AM logic, 0.08.1, a ARM64 architecture with eMMC storage, and image version is 2019 December 31st. Okay, so exit, Control X, and we go back here, fetch the system kernel information, copy, and paste. Oh, sudo password is Khadas. And again, and again, we just ls, and you'll see the kernel log file there. So if you want to look inside, we can. Alright, it says here booting Linux on physical CPU. It's quite a long log. Yeah, it's a tremendously long log. Okay, so you can use this to diagnose boot up problems and so on and so forth. Alright. And finally, the last log that you must send us is system log information. So we just copy this one here. Terminal. Paste. Alright. And then ls, you'll see this has been compressed into a TGZ file. So if you do want to look at this, then you just untar it, right? And then you can look at the contents, but there's a lot of stuff inside, so I won't unpack it. Alright, so once you have these three files saved to your home folder, home directory on your Ubuntu installation, you can then go ahead to upload your log files there, and you can see over here we have welcome to Khadas. Let me make it bigger for you. Okay, so Linux is handled by numqq and frank. So you can upload your logs and then at numqq or at frank, and they will have a look at your logs and figure out what went wrong, or what you can do differently. Okay, so I'm gonna see if we can show you the second method, which is use SSH to log in. Okay, so I'm gonna switch back to, oh wait, I'm gonna check my IP address again just to make sure. So IP address is 192.168.1.14. Alright, cool. And we're gonna switch back to the Windows computer now. I'll see you in a bit. Alright, hello again, and welcome back to Windows. So I have my OBS studio recording over here. Right, so now that we did the local login, we're gonna do how to log into the system via SSH on Windows, because I'm running a Windows machine, so it's convenient for me. And to do this, you need to download a software called Putty. I don't know why they call it Putty. But it's basically an SSH client for Windows. Alright, and I have mine running over here. So just click on Putty and make sure that you're on the same Wi-Fi network as your Khadas board, same subnet as well if you're on a corporate network with many different subnets. And make sure that, if your laptop is on Wi-Fi and your Khadas SBC is on Ethernet, make sure that the Wi-Fi and the Ethernet networks are bridged, because in some corporate environments they actually split the Wi-Fi and the Ethernet network so they cannot talk. Okay, but as long as they are on the same network, right, and same subnet, they will be able to communicate. So let's just check. Right, my laptop is 192.168.1.9, and just now my SBC was 1.14 IP version 4 address. I still can't get my head around IP version 6. I mean, those IP addresses look crazy, but IP4 is easily understandable. Alright. So you just follow the instructions here. Type in the IP address of your SBC. Port 22. Connection type SSH. I don't know why this says telnet here, it's strange. I mean, okay, I guess SSH is telnet? I don't think so. Okay, then just open. The server source key is not cached. You have no guarantee that the server is the computer you think it is. If you trust this host, press accept. Yeah, okay, we trust this host. Okay. Alright, so login as Khadas, and password is Khadas. Ooh, that's how insecure my Vim1 SBC is, isn't it? Okay, but anyway, I'm not teaching you a network security lecture, so never mind. So again, the process is similar. We just copy these commands into your SSH terminal. There we go. Boop. And of course, since just now we did it locally, all these files are available here locally as well. Okay, so we can also delete them and try again. Okay, so you can see the home folder is empty, and if I take this command and I paste it in the terminal, Windows, everything works as though you are at a local terminal, but this is a remote SSH terminal over the Wi-Fi network. Okay, so you can see everything works as before. Maybe it just looks a little bit the colors look a bit different because we're using a client app. Okay, so that's very simple, and I think it's no big deal. So let's close this. Oh, okay. Whoops. Exit. Type exit. Okay, so let's see what we've covered. I've shown you how to access the log locally on Ubuntu, which is over here. I've shown you how to access the log remotely using SSH over here. Okay, all's good. And now, the difficult one. Let's see, where's the difficult one? Login via a serial terminal. Okay. In this next section, I'm going to show you the hardest one, which is to set up a serial debugging tool. So I have, I'll show you my tool. I show you this tool, not my tool, over here. Maybe you can see it on the big camera. So 3 wires, and this is a USB tool, so this plugs into your PC over here. Alright. Okay. So why do we need this tool? Well, in some cases when the Vim board has been damaged somehow, there's no HDMI, there's no USB, there's nothing, basically there's no output, no input. There are still the 40 pin GPIOs over here. So what you can do is you can take this serial tool and just follow the connection steps over here and plug it into your Vim SBC, right? So this is like the worst case scenario when nothing works, there's no network, there's no monitor, there's no USB, then we fall back to the debugging tool. Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna get everything set up and I'll see you again in a bit. Hi everyone, and welcome to the final part of this video, which is to use a USB to TTL converter to connect to your Vim SBC, right? This is useful, as I've mentioned before, if the HDMI, USB, and as well as the Ethernet are not working, and the only interface available to you is the GPIO for some reason. Alright, so just now we were looking at capture the running log, and we want to click on the article called Setup Serial Debugging Tool. Right? When you click that, you'll end up on this page, which will teach you how to connect your USB tool. So you can see on my camera here, I've got my tool plugged into my laptop's USB here, as well as to my Vim1 GPIO over here. As you can see behind my Vim1, the USB, the HDMI, and Ethernet, and the other USB are all disconnected. The only one I have connected, of course, is the USB-C power. Alright, so my Vim SBC is running, Ubuntu Linux is running, but there's nothing connected to it, not even a keyboard and mouse, okay? So you have to pay attention to the connections, and this is a little tricky because the connections are actually reversed. Alright, what do I mean by that? Well, the ground pin connects to the ground pin of your Vim's GPIO, it's fine. But the transmit pin of your tool is connected to the receive pin of the Vim's GPIO, and the receive pin of the tool is connected to the transmit pin of the GPIO. Okay, and actually you only need 3 pins, you don't need the 4th pin over here. Okay, so I'm just going to show you. If you don't know how to connect, you just go to Vim here and select your Vim device, then Vim1 hardware, or in my case it's Vim1 because I'm using a Vim1. And then you scroll down and you see here that this is pin 20, so you count backwards, 20, 19, 18, 17, and this is pin 40, 40, 39, 38, 37, okay? So if you scroll down here, you see from pin 20 counting backwards is 19, 18, and 17. So 19 would be your transmit pin, 18 is your receive pin, and 17 is your ground pin. Okay, it's very easy, right? So which you can also see here on your physical board. Right, so to make things easier for you, I have taken some pictures. Okay, so you can see that my red wire is connected to pin 19, which is this a transmit pin. The receive pin is the brown wire, and black is my ground pin. Okay, and subsequently on my tool, the receive pin is in red wire here, the transmit pin is the brown pin, and of course the ground pin is the black pin. So do note that they are reversed, okay? So transmit is connected to the receiving pin. Receiving pin here is connected to the transmit pin here. Okay, so with that out of the way, you'll also need additional software called Secure CRT, and this software you can get it from the vandyke.com website, and it's available for Windows, for Mac, and for Linux. So whichever operating system you're using, you will be able to use a USB to serial tool to debug any issues on your Vim single board computer. Okay, so in my case, I downloaded the Windows version because my PC is Windows, right? And I had some trouble with installing the driver. So my device is called USB Serial CH340 on COM3. And if your Windows 10 installation cannot find a driver for your device, you just click it, you click Details, and then you click on Hardware IDs, and you copy this into Google, the first hardware ID. And for me at least, I got onto this website called driverscape.com, and I found this is the appropriate, this one here is the appropriate Windows driver for my operating system. I installed it and it worked. Okay, so just a quick tip for Windows users: if you can't find a driver, you can do a Google search for it. Alright, so we'll just reopen the Secure CRT tool over here, and I'm using mine on a 30-day trial, right? So we're just going to do quick connect. Alright, switch this to serial, switch this to 115200, so you can see all of this is over here. Alright, and 8 bits, parity none, stop bits 1, zone on off. Okay, right, so this is the only additional option I don't have. Okay, connect. Alright, so this is a bit strange, but you want to get any input and you must press on your keyboard and then you get some input. So you see here we have Khadas login. Hooray! So we can log in, Khadas and Khadas. And so just like as though you're running a local terminal on Ubuntu or Linux, you'll see this terminal as well. So again, now with this terminal open, you can do the same thing, which is to fetch the system version information. So we just take this, copy. Ooh. Right. And we just take this, paste, and we just take this, paste. Okay. And we can see that all these files are here as before. Alright, so you can just copy these contents out into your PC, and then of course send them out to a Khadas forum, and we can diagnose the problem for you. Alright, so it's all very simple and very easy. These are the steps for debugging your Vim board. And if of course you're using a Mac or Mac is actually more similar to Linux, Ubuntu, or Unix basically. So you can basically on your Mac just follow these same instructions that you find on the capture running log, and you just click on Mac OS, and these are the instructions over here, and it's similar, very similar to the Ubuntu instructions. Okay, so I think the only exception is Windows, because Windows is, it's a different operating system entirely, so you need to use special software like PuTTY and whatever, Secure CRT and so on and so forth. Alright, thank you for watching this video, and if you have any support requests and issues, head over to khadasforum.com. But basically this video is going to help you to dump out the logs from your system, and that will help us more quickly understand and analyze what is going wrong with your Ubuntu installation. Okay, so I'll see you next time, and bye bye.